will get started. Welcome to everyone who is here for our RiverWoods Manchester 101 presentation. We hold this monthly. My name is Katie Hendrickson. I am joined by my colleague Jen Torgersen, and we're going to go through the ins and outs of our community. So please feel free to take advantage of that Q&A box. I see a few others typing in where they're from. Kennebunkport, same weather, yep. Seattle, Washington. So you may win bragging rights this time. But let's get started. So again, you have a Q&A box located either at the top or bottom of your screen, depending on if you're using a desktop computer, your tablet, your phone, whichever device. Please feel free to type in any questions you have throughout the presentation. We will go over everything at the end, but at any point you go, I'd like more clarification, or I'd really like to learn more about X, type it in. Or if you have suggestions for things that we should talk about next time, we welcome your feedback. So we will start this presentation with a little bit about our history. So the two ladies that you see on your screen are our founders. So Mariana Hatch and Rosemary Coffin very much started RiverWoods at a breakfast table, discussing how they could make the idea of getting older better. So they created RiverWoods Exeter, specifically our Woods campus, but also our mission. So that is to be a leader in providing a superior option for a growing number of older adults seeking community and peace of mind. And they were extremely successful. So RiverWoods today is a group of 3 communities: Exeter, Manchester, and Durham. Exeter, which is the 3 images on the right-hand side of your screen, is 3 campuses: the Woods, the Ridge, and the Boulders. The first community to come online. Manchester was second. We were an affiliation to a community that had been around for many years, and we're roughly 8 years now into the affiliation, and since have taken over to become RiverWoods Manchester today. And then Durham is our newest community. And so together we create the RiverWoods group. We all have the same mission, the same goals for our residents, and just the quality of life that we'd like to provide them. And we all work together with the same kind of goal for today, but also the future. So how do we work as a system? So we consist of a CCRC board, a system CEO, and a system board. We all consult down the line, as you can see on your screen, but we also have the overarching RiverWoods group. So what the RiverWoods group does is it helps fund the universal departments such as finance, IT, HR, marketing, etc. They also help fund the quote-unquote at-risk projects within our community. So that could be an expansion or a renovation. They provide that sort of safety net for those projects. And also they serve as a safety net for the individual communities. So if something happened to Durham or Exeter, we hope not, but in this example, it would not affect Manchester. The group would serve as a safety net for that community. So moving on from our history, we're going to talk about our Manchester community specifically. So when you hear the word Manchester, you may think downtown, restaurants, theater, busy streets. But if you look at the map that's on your screen, you may be surprised of where our community campus is located. We are actually right next to a 640-acre nature preserve called the Cedar Swamp Preserve, and it's still within minutes from the downtown city. So you do get the best of both worlds here, whether you are more of a rural person or not. So if you like to hike bike, just get outside. You have endless options. And if you like to try new foods and go to museums, you also have that. In addition, from being within the Manchester city limits, we're also nearby other very main cities and towns. So we do have the Manchester Airport if you like to travel. We're 20 minutes to Concord, half hour to Nashua, 40 minutes to the coast, about an hour to Boston, depending on where you're going. So you have so much just at your arm's reach, and that's really kind of rare to have in that capacity. So if you have questions about that or would like to see it in person, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to show you our community and also have you have the opportunity to explore. This is a great aerial of our community that really shows that nature preserve that's right next to us. This was taken, I think, at like 4:30 in the morning via a drone, and it just came out spectacular. So again, if you haven't had the chance to see this in person, please feel free to check us out. Obviously, it gets even more beautiful in the fall as all the trees change colors, and it just looks spectacular. One thing to note is we are also next to major highways. So in order to get to all those towns, if you need to connect to 101 or 93 or 293, you have that all kind of 5 to 10-ish minutes away from our community. So we have about 100-year history in the Manchester area. We're actually the only continuing care retirement community in Manchester. We are a not-for-profit charitable CCRC, and our community consists of 136 independent living apartments and 22, 18 of which are brand new cottages. That is for our independent living. We also have assisted living, memory support, and enhanced assisted living, all under one roof. So a closer view of our community shows what I just said. So on your right-hand side of your screen, the red, blue, and gray structures are our cottages. The 4 in gray have existed since 2015, 2016. The red and blue are brand new, with the most recent resident moving in July of this year. The structure on your left is the main building, if you will. So that's independent living through enhanced assisted living. So if you transition over your lifetime through different levels of care, you're really just moving down the hall at maximum. We also have this beautiful road that loops around our community. So if you have pets and want to get outside for a quick walk, that's a great space to utilize. We also have short walks on our community grounds as well, and then the nature preserve. So apart from our community, other things that are within sort of the Manchester expanded area, we do have the Currier Museum of Art, which one of our residents is a docent there. I've been, and it's really a spectacular museum. I guess it's not so recently now, but they sort of recently acquired a second Frank Lloyd Wright house. So if you have an interest in that, definitely come check it out. There's the Palace Theater, which is always a fan favorite. We have hosted a few events for some of their opening night musicals or plays. The Millyard Museum, there's a variety of parks and outdoor areas nearby, such as Livingston and Stark Parks. The Cedar Swamp I've talked about, Lake Massabesic, and then also some golf courses. So Intervale is just down the street from here, but there's also the Dairyfield golf course. Intervale is a smaller, I think it's 9 holes if I'm not mistaken, but very, very popular. So a little bit about the preserve that's right next to us. All of the people that you see on your screen are our residents. So just to give you perspective. So the Cedar Swamp Preserve is 640 acres, well loved by our community. We call it our unofficial backyard. Um, we have one resident who is on the left-hand side of your screen, who is very, very involved with the Nature Conservancy, who quote unquote uh, preserves this land area. So much so that when one of our residents unfortunately passed away, her daughter, who inherited some money, donated to the Nature Conservancy in his name. And so we had a really nice celebration, and he received a very beautiful wood plaque. We call him sort of our resident outdoorsman. If you ever have an interest in going on the trails, maybe not in the wintertime, but maybe when the weather is a little bit better, please feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to connect you with Bill or someone else. Within the Nature Conservancy, just near our community, is actually an all-persons trail. It's about 1.2 miles long. It's wide, covered in a fine gravel, so great for accessibility. There are these beautiful wood benches all throughout the way. There's a giant rhododendron bush that, when it's in bloom, is spectacular. And so that's something that's just nearby and utilized not just by our community, but the surrounding areas as well. It actually became a stop on the Manchester public bus line so that people within the inner city can come and get outdoor access. So enough about our area. Let's dive into more of the specifics about a continuing care retirement community. So for us, our minimum age to move in is 62. In independent living alone, up until recently, we had from 62 to 105. So this really is something for your lifetime, and peace of mind for your lifetime. So independent living consists of a wellness clinic, which holds our nurse practitioner. She has walk-in hours, and also you can schedule an appointment with her, kind of to take away the urgent care visits, if you will. But with that, you do get care coordination throughout your lifetime. We do have a social worker within our community, and within our healthcare, which we call the lodge. We have RNs, LNAs, and LPNs, all within our staff basis. As an independent living resident, you do get 30 days of free, what we call respite stay, per calendar year. Very, very well utilized for things such as a knee replacement is a great example. If you needed a bit of hands-on care while you came out of that surgery, you could do a temporary stay in our assisted living. And then as you recover, you could move back to your independent living apartment. So it's a great, great amenity to have in-house. But in addition to it all, you also get discounted healthcare. So written into our contract, you get $1,000 off assisted living, $1,500 off memory support, and $2,000 off enhanced assisted living per month for your lifetime. So that's huge. Our contract type is unique, so you're only paying for care when you actually need it. And by also getting these discounted monthly rates, it's a fantastic contract type and very, very flexible to your needs. So we call all of this essentially an insurance product, because what you're doing is prepaying for those care needs to start, and then just enjoying kind of the worry-free lifetime, worry-free mindset for your lifetime, excuse me. So I mentioned prepaying for those care needs. So in addition to a monthly fee, you do also have an entrance fee. The entrance fee for us is 70% refundable, which means that if you were to pass away or to move out of the community, as long as your independent space has been reclosed on, 70% of that entrance fee can go to your estate, your beneficiaries, whoever you've named. That's one option. We pride ourselves in having the ability to offer a choice of spending down that 70% in healthcare on that monthly fee difference. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to go into specifics. But what it does is it gives you more options on how your assets are used. You were the one that worked so hard to save those assets in the beginning. So we want you to have a choice of where that money goes. So more about our community. This quote that's on the top left of your screen, I love because I could not stand by it more. It is very true. It says, "RiverWoods Manchester is a neighborhood full of people passionate about what they do every day." It really is incredible being able to work here as a staff member. I have come from a care background. Jen has worked in communities as well, and this one has really blown me away. The relationships that exist between residents and residents, residents and staff, staff and staff, I've just not seen before. With that being said, you do not have to be an extrovert to move into the community. You just will have a welcoming environment. If you ever wanted to join a committee or a club, there will always be people to say, "Come join us. I'll show you how to get there. Oh, I'm going that way too," etc. One resident likes to say, if you were trying to go from point A to point B, without talking to someone, you might be unsuccessful because someone is probably going to say, "Oh, hey, how is your Aunt Susie in Norway doing?" It really is a pretty spectacular environment. So here's some more pictures of our residents. So again, there's a lot of outdoor opportunities while still being in the Manchester city limits. We're also a pet-friendly community. So if you have a four-legged friend that you want to bring, or birds or whatnot, just talk to us. We do have a pet policy. So the pets do need, to be up to date with any vaccination or shots. We need to know who the veterinarian is, et cetera, et cetera. But we have quite a few residents with dogs, cats, small birds. We actually newly created a dog run on our community grounds, which is a place for those pets to be off leash. And it's a great just kind of running area right, next door. Again, more beautiful pictures of our nearby areas. So a few kayakers here, a few avid bicyclists. One of our residents actually created a community of her own just by exploring the nearby areas on her bike, and found a few friends that way and kind of expanded her world even more from RiverWoods Manchester. It was really neat. So with that being said, I am going to pass this on to my colleague, Jen Torgersen, who is going to talk to you more about the inside of our community and what we have to offer.
Thank you, Katie. Hi, everyone. My name is Jen, and we're glad you could join us today. We're looking here at our largest, newest cottage, the White Oak, which is about 1,650 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-car garage, vaulted ceilings, beautiful fireplace, lovely patio. And our residents are just loving this cottage. They are just gorgeous and very roomy. They have a den as well as a little sunroom off the living room area. So it's really popular floor plan. And next we will show you the Sugar Maple Cottage, which is just a tiny bit smaller. Oh, I guess we were. I'm sorry, I guess we're not showing that today. I apologize. But the next smaller size is also two bedroom, two bath with the fireplace and the two-car garage and everything. So it's about 1,350 square feet. Our apartments range from a one bedroom, 624 square feet, up to the largest size, which is 1,424 square feet, which is two bedrooms with a den. So there is a full range of sizes and a little variety here in the floor plans of what we offer. Since RiverWoods came in back in 2016, we have actually gutted any apartments that opened and put in new kitchens, new cabinets, appliances, flooring, countertops, added stackable washer dryers. Some apartments do come with patios or balconies for an extra $50 fee per month. You may find stainless steel appliances. You may find toffee colored cabinets, white quartz countertops, beautiful light granites, and just several different options. Currently, the carpet is standard. Some folks have paid for upgrades, but the LVT, luxury vinyl tile, is the flooring in all the kitchens. And we're putting in new ceramic planks that are beautiful in the bathrooms as well as ceiling lightings, ceiling lights in the living rooms. And there's an upgrade option for the bedrooms and dens. So different options when you are moving into an apartment. You can pay for some upgrades. Some are just automatically being done. All are light and bright. This is our Aspen floor plan. We actually have an Aspen floor plan currently with a patio opening on the first floor. Light, bright, lovely style, plenty of space for a full queen bedroom set in any size apartment that we have. And the Aspen is about 624 square feet, but really quite a nice size for individuals as well as couples. We have 3 couples living in Aspens, and they're doing quite well. The beauty of this building is there's so many common areas that the entire place becomes your home. There's a lot of extra living space outside of your apartments if needed. Anyway, if you're interested in the Aspen, definitely give us a call. It will probably go quickly, and it's a great opportunity. This is a picture of our poplar. You can see the toffee colored cabinets, stainless steel, white quartz countertops. This is 1,424 square feet. So it's got a 38-foot living room. There are only 2 of these in the community, but they are super popular, and we can certainly get you on the wait list for this size if you'd like. It's 2 bedrooms with a den, and it has 2 full baths and 4 closets, as well as a double balcony. So it's just a wonderful space overlooking the birch grove. So birch trees and grass and really pretty view, morning sun. So if you're interested in this, we can get you on the wait list for this size. As far as the building itself, honestly, it's been here 30 years, and we've put in over $30 million, RiverWoods has, to completely update it. So it's really more like it's about 7 or 8 years old now, with all the changes and updates and investment in the community. But we have so many common areas that many communities can't afford to build anymore because the cost of construction is so outlandish. We already have them here, and they've been renovated. So it just makes for a really interesting layout. We're built into a hillside, so parts of second floor are ground level, parts of third floor are ground level. And it just makes it really interesting. The halls are not just straight, they're angled, and A, B, and C wings all have an outdoor balcony and sunroom on every floor. So there's all these extra community spaces where you can go and enjoy your life outside of your own personal living room. We do have a resident-run library, which is wonderful, and we're connected to the Manchester library system, the New Hampshire system. We do have a book club. It's lifelong librarians that are now living here, running the library. Great dining areas, all renovated with a nice patio off the main dining room. Private dining room for parties, family celebrations, things like that. Of course, mail room, but you can also mail packages down at the front desk and they'll let you know when they arrive or deliver later in the day if needed. We have a wonderful resident-run tavern that is currently under renovation, so it's going to be brand new very soon. It's a resident committee, and the residents actually bartend. They take orders and sell tickets at the door, and they have a ball. So it's twice a week. And that room is also used for other meetings and things, but it is a fantastic opportunity that most communities don't have. Um, Living room with fireplace is sort of everyone's living room. Some people call it the nook. We serve a light continental breakfast in the nook every morning that is separate from the dining points that are included in your monthly fees. Beautiful two-sided fireplace. We also put out homemade cookies in the afternoon. But this area is used for game nights, for reading the papers in the morning, for knitting group, for bridge group, mahjong. There's always a couple of tables of mahjong. Really everything and anything. And it's a really lovely space. The Birch Hill room is an addition we put on maybe 5 years ago, tripling the size of what used to be here for activities room and fitness rooms. So very recently added, beautiful spaces, fitness classes, concerts, lectures, things like that, all go on in there. And the fitness room's open 24/7. So if you can't sleep, you can go in and work out in the middle of the night, or you can go borrow a book if you want to. Art gallery is resident run as well. They swap out the show every month or two, and all sorts of different interesting things being shown there. Katie mentioned the dog run, so it's a great space where the dogs can go off leash, which is such a treat. Our wood shop is resident run. We recently enlarged it, and there's two different spaces. One has all the heavy machinery. The other is open to everyone in the building, not just the wood shop committee members, but allows you to go in and borrow a hammer and nail if you want to, or work on a chair or something like that. There's a lot of things you can borrow in that that inside space, and it's up on the third floor. But the wood shop's fantastic. And some of the guys were selling handmade things or machine-made things at our recent holiday fair. I bought a couple of gorgeous puzzles, wooden puzzles for grandchildren and nieces and nephews. So among other things, handmade spoons, all sorts of things. Salon is under renovation. So for hair and nails, that will be finished soon. And you can reserve a massage, pay for a massage there if you wanted to, and possibly more services in the future in our brand new salons. Very exciting. Wide hallways. So this building was built 30 years ago by both hospitals in the area. It was quite institutional looking when we first got here. We've made all sorts of changes to improve that, so it's more residential feeling now. But those wide hallways are also something that don't exist in most new communities, and it's wonderful. People really comment on that when they come in to tour. There are two resident-run stores. One is a country store for dry goods. One is a secondhand boutique. It's a fundraiser, and all sorts of neat things there. And those are both resident-run. Sunrooms, outdoor balconies and patios open to residents, like I said, on every floor, not just the ones that are on an actual apartment, but community sunrooms and balconies. They're just terrific. Sitting areas, fitness room, like I said, open 24/7. It's just terrific. And we have classes, fitness classes, 6 days a week. You can just go in and join those. Those are all included. This is our fitness room. There are rowing machines, there's treadmills, there's an elliptical, there's numerous different styles of bikes. There are two new steps, which are used a lot in physical therapy. Stretch table you can see here. There's free weights, stretch bands, balls. There's another piece of equipment on the wall there, Katie, I can't remember what it's called.
TRX?
TRX, yes, we have that. We also have a multifunctional trainer that you can use for seated or standing exercises. Looks like a robot. It might be in the next picture here. But it's kind of neat, and you can add weights to that. Oh, maybe it's not. But it's 24/7 access to the fitness room. Also, we have outpatient therapy available in the building. So Manchester VNA Visiting Nurses has an office in the building, and they offer outpatient physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. That might be done in someone's apartment or cottage, or they may come into the fitness room and use it. So on any given day, any hour, somebody might be working out, and another might be getting therapy. Super convenient for the people that live here. Some of our really tiny classes might go on the floor in this actual fitness room, but most of them are in the really large Birch Hill room. So there's a lot of space. Might be 20, 30 people, or might be 6 or 8, just depending on what it is. Our fitness coordinator, Megan, I will add, is terrific. You can hire her as a personal trainer, or she can just do an orientation when you come in, show you how to use everything. She runs some of the classes both over here and in the lodge, which is the healthcare portion of the community. She sometimes takes people out on walking tours or maybe snowshoeing in the wintertime. So she's a great help to everyone here.
We also like to tie in volunteer work with the nature preserve. So we'll do like a
Yes.
trash pickup walk to help
Yep.
maintain the trails. And that's really nice too.
It is nice. Yep. That's great. And she does wellness presentations with our nurse practitioner too, which I'll talk about shortly. Sample outings, Portsmouth Harbor Cruise, lunch at the Beach Plum, kayaking, picnics. In the past, they've done train trips. They've gone to Boston Symphony. That's a pretty common thing. Dinner out in various areas. Of course, Katie mentioned the Proctor's Theater. They have Broadway shows and comedy shows and more serious theater as well. And we're near Concord too, so Capital City for the Arts is really great. They have a lot of great shows there as well. We also have universities here. So there are tons of things going on in the area. Our residents do all of them, just depending on the month and the level of interest. They're going all over the place and having a great time. Recently, they've been looking at holiday lights. There were so many people, they added an extra shuttle trip just to go out and see the lights, for people that don't get out quite as easily as some folks here. That was a really nice opportunity. And they also, one of the drivers gives tours of Manchester for people that move in from out of state, which is pretty frequent. So that's really helpful to people too.
One other thing, actually, today at 2 o'clock, we are having a presentation by a rocket. So that's pretty fun as well. And they were actually here last year. And yes, they did the high kicks and everything.
I actually had a rocket in my old community in upstate New York. And we had a new rocket. We had a current rocket come in, and they had a wonderful conversation for the whole group to listen to. So it was really fun. This is a picture of our Birch Hill activities room. This was, I think, a healthcare panel, but we do resident panels, and there's some on-site events, luncheon events that we put on throughout the year, mostly webinars at this point, but you will see this space on a tour as well. These are some of the balconies and the sunrooms. They all overlook different areas. There are sunrooms that overlook the Birch Grove, and there's balconies that overlook the front of the campus. Some wings have all the chairs in the circle because they do a BYOB out there every night in the summertime. Super social, some folks. And when the tavern's not going on, a lot of people will either on their balconies or in that living room area just push tables together, and you might have 20 people chatting and enjoying a beverage at night. But these are wonderful, and these all become, your living space once you're here. Super convenient. Our resident-run library, like I said, is great. They have a book club. We are connected to the library, and our shuttle will pick up and drop off books every week if needed. You can place orders with the library system. Library is open 24/7, and our folks who run it are very proud of it and just love having it in-house. One of them actually walks the halls and reads at the same time. I have no idea how she does it, but it's pretty remarkable. So what's included in the monthly fees? Every 2 weeks, a housekeeper would come in. They would vacuum, dust, mop, clean the bathroom, clean the kitchen. you have an opportunity to, you could pay for laundry services or bed making or additional housekeeping. And we do an annual deep cleaning where a couple people come in and move your furniture and that sort of thing, as well as do windows. Dining programs. So every independent person receives 18 dining points a day. And it's called a bundled meal. You start the month out with about 550 points in that range, and every time you order, you spend it down. You can carry over up to a month's worth of unused points, and you can now use them for guests. So you can bring your family and friends in and use your points for them as well. We do have a couple of smaller meal plans. If you find you're not eating all that food, and that would offer a monthly credit on your bill, you can change meal plans a minimum 3 months at a time. Food is great. We have an Austrian chef. We have a dining room manager who was a food writer for a while in Europe. We have great local high school and college kids that come in and serve, very cheerful, and the residents and visitors are super happy with the food. Very impressed. The events, the activities, volunteer opportunities. You could join a committee. You could be on a finance committee. If you've been in finance your whole life, you can come in and work on budgets and advise the resident council and the board. Civics committee, started by a resident, brings in political speakers from both sides of the aisle just to get more exposure here in the community. That's always fun. St. Anselm's College has a politics institute. They come in as well. And so there's a lot of great conversations there, very respectful, I might add. And you can work in the stores, you could do fundraisers, you can do all sorts of things here. It's just too much to mention, but if there's something not available or that you don't see on the calendars, it's very resident driven. So you let us know what you're interested in doing, and we will help to make that happen if we can. Respite 30 free days every year for every independent resident. So we have 3 rooms set aside at all times just for the independent residents who may have a short-term medical need. Pre-scheduled transportation to medical and dental appointments, banking, those outings, trips that they do, as well as grocery shopping. Might be Hannaford, might be Market Basket, might be Trader Joe's, sometimes Whole Foods, something like that. 24-hour staffing. So there's always someone here for emergency response, maintenance. If your dishwasher breaks, we own those appliances. You just call the front desk and put in a work order, and they'll check in and schedule a time to take care of your problem. So that's really great. Wonderful staff working here. All the utilities are included. So heat, electricity, snow removal, trash removal, a basic cable package of about 100 channels, free Wi-Fi, and this fabulous winter car service. If there's more than 2 inches of snow on the ground, usually the day after the storm, all the facility staff come in, they clean off all the cars, they start all the engines, they move your car for the plow trucks to plow, and then they put them back in the same parking lot. And that is a free service, which is fabulous. We also do have some carports. They're $50 a month. There's a wait list for carports currently, and you can reserve just one of those if you want to. Most people do the free car service. They are thrilled with it. It's fabulous. Even in the winter, if it was super hot and they were paving, same thing. They usually move the cars for people. So it's really great.
I wish I had it in my own life.
Mhm.
Because it really is spectacular to see. And if, they were very efficient with their time, sometimes they expand things to staff cars, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it's everybody kind of banding together and trying to get everybody safe and also, cleared out from the storm.
Yeah, and if they haven't cleared yet, but you really have to get somewhere, somebody will go out and do your car for you, which is wonderful. They also have, tire air pressure gauges and things like that. They can charge your battery, if your battery dies. So really helpful. Great, great stuff. And this is, of course, our dining room. I didn't point that out, obvious to see, but that's our independent living dining room, which is beautiful. Nice and bright. Other benefits. So our wellness clinic has a nurse practitioner, Karen, who has an open door policy. She's here 5 days a week. She responds to emergencies Monday through Friday when she's here. But she's also a huge help to people. She really supplements your outside doctor's services. does flu clinics, vaccinations, blood pressure checks, things like that, puts on presentations, health or, fitness, things like that with the fitness coordinator. She can do house calls if you're sick. She can help with the transition team. We do have a transition team here that if residents start having any changes in health, that team meets every single week to help put a plan in place and help make it happen with you or whoever's in your circle, maybe your kids, your doctor's office, that sort of thing. So she's really instrumental in helping with that the whole time you're here. It's wonderful. There are a couple pharmacies that deliver. Some people get mail orders, some just drive themselves to the pharmacy, and some go on the shuttle. Like I said, visiting nurses is on site, has an on-site office, as well as a couple of other therapy companies. And enhanced living is a service that our wellness nurse, Karen, oversees. So she has 3 LNAs for hire in independent living to offer support if you need it, if your needs change and you just need some support. I think you can hire up to 2 hours a day. You can pay by the hour, and they're fantastic. And a lot of people prefer to do that instead of moving to assisted living sooner, so that's an option here as well. Benevolence. So we are a not-for-profit charitable organization. Benevolence is, we raise funds for benevolence, and we basically cover your monthly fees if you run out of money over time, out of what you qualified with. So if over time you spend down what you came in with, it's not for purposely handing your assets to someone else and asking for help, but it's, on an honesty basis. We'll subsidize your monthly fee so you do not have to leave the community, which is absolutely huge. And it doesn't always happen that way in communities. So you want to ask that question: what happens if I run out of money? Or if someplace takes Medicaid, well, how many beds are covered? If it's only 50 and you're number 51 needing a Medicaid bed, you still have to go somewhere else. So good questions to ask wherever you're touring. If you ever do use benevolence, once you're gone, you have 70%. If you have money in your 70% refund, you didn't spend it down at the lodge, that would first refund the benevolence fund for the next person to use, and then anything left in your refund would go to your estate. If there's nothing in your refund and you live here another 20 years, that 20 years is on us. So that's key. That is the charitable piece in our contract, and it's super important. And again, you want to know how that works everywhere else. This is a range of our price sheets. If you've asked us for information, you probably received this attached to an email, but we can certainly email it to you again. The lowest entrance fee is $228,000. Again, 70% refundable with a spend down option. Highest entrance fee for the cottages currently $799, and 70% of that first person entrance fee is refundable or with the spend down option. The second person fee is $32,000 non-refundable, and there's a second person monthly fee of $984 that you would add on to the first person larger monthly fee. And our waitlist deposit amounts range from $25,000 for the 1 bedrooms all the way up to $70,000 for the cottages. So are you ready to join our waitlist? These are our guys up in the wood shop, some of them. And like I said, they've made all sorts of cool things, some of which they've sold to ourselves and others. But they're also a huge help if you need help fixing your chair. They're your guys. So joining the wait list, estimated wait time, 6 months would probably be the soonest for a 1 bedroom, aside from that Aspen we have available right now. All the way up to 5 years, could be longer if you wait too long to join our wait list, honestly. And it's all depending on the floor plan size. To start, you would complete our confidential data application, our profile CDP, and we figure out what you can afford here, what sizes you can afford. Deposit is, well, we call it a reservation fee, really. It's based on 1 bedrooms or ones with dens, or 2 bedrooms or cottages. You can deposit on the largest size and list any size below that, certainly. So, and you can add a different size in the future as well. Your deposit will earn 4% simple interest from your deposit date through the offer date when an apartment or a cottage is opening up. And we get you pre-qualified or re-qualified financially at that time, as well as doing a health assessment with a nurse practitioner. If you do become a resident, that 4% simple interest is paid through the offer date. And if you don't, for a voluntary withdrawal, it's a $1,000 processing fee, and the balance is returned with a very small amount of interest, like 0.25%. And for, God forbid, a medical reason, you couldn't come for a serious medical reason, the entire deposit is refunded plus that 0.25%. And flexible is no penalty. If you're not ready and you've told us you're not ready, we're not going to penalize you for saying no to an apartment. If you come in to see an apartment or you ask us to hold it for 3 days, that would count as your 3 refusals. And 3 refusals means you go to the bottom of the list and start over again. So you can let us know if you have questions about that. So closing, again, if something opens when you're on the wait list, an apartment or a cottage, and you're interested, we redo the financials at that point. We do the health assessment, get some information from your doctor's office, and you have to requalify for both of those. And your approval date for both of those is your offer date. And then it's a 61-day closing period. You sign the contract, which we've given you way in advance to review. And day 50, you sign. Day 61, you pay the entrance fee. We have a form to sign saying you want your deposit or your reservation fee to go towards that. And then the monthly fees start on day 61 as well. That signing on day 50 allows you a 10-day rescission. So you can back out and get your money back if you wish before you pay the entrance fee and establish residency. And that's it. Then you're a resident. Some people move in that very day, which can be quite stressful. Some people wait a few months and take their time moving things in and, sort of slowly become residents. I'd say it's kind of in between there, kind of half and half. And I've had a couple people that have taken a place and not moved in for years. So we've seen just about everything. These are some of our residents. 2 of these women are cousins, actually, which is kind of cool. Living on the same wing after all these years. We've had people move in that taught with someone right down the hall for 30 years and didn't know they were coming. There's all sorts of little stories like that when people come to a place like this, but lots of connections. And this is a fire pit. We've got some out on assisted living and the memory support courtyard, as well as independent living. So a CCRC, Continuing Care Retirement Community, offers the best value in senior living. What is your plan? Whatever you do, make a plan. Wait lists are getting longer by the minute, and you definitely want to figure out where you want to be and join that wait list now. Don't count on it being available if you delay. Choose your change and make it happen, or have it available if you want it in the future. And then we have the next online workshop, which is Thursday, February 20th at 1 o'clock. Keep the memories, lose the stuff. It's all about downsizing. And Katie is hosting this one. Katie, can you tell me about the author? Because I don't think I've seen this show.
Yeah, so this is so I am moderating it, but really the person you will be there to see is Matt Paxton. So if you have ever watched the show Hoarders, he was one of the kind of therapy slash organizing experts on those episodes. But he has a new book that Jen just mentioned, Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff, because he had to help clear out his parents' houses and was very overwhelmed by it all, even though he specializes in helping others. So it's sort of his knowledge and his expertise about the area of downsizing and kind of going through items that may have sentimental value that are really hard to part with. It's a great, great presentation. I'm super excited to be talking with him. I actually have his book right now. So if you would like to sign up for that, You have both the QR code on your screen. So if you have a smartphone, you just open your camera app, hold it on that QR code, and then a link will show up for you to register, or you have the actual website link at the bottom of your screen. But please join us. We hold events like this all throughout the year, but this is a particularly exciting one, I think.
You all have the advantage of starting now.
Mhm.
Our residents and everyone that has ever moved into this community or any community will tell you, don't wait to start downsizing. Do it now. Make a plan, figure it out, and start. Because if you wait until the last month or you've got 2 months, you've got 61 days once we offer you an apartment. You do not want to wait until that point to make this happen. So definitely pay attention to what they say. And, if you're in a community tour, you definitely want to listen to the residents when they tell you be brutal and less is more.
Yeah. And, this, even if you are an organized person, I find myself to be an organized person. I still feel like you can always learn something from these presentations. So keep, listening, keep watching, because I always find some new trick or trade to the practice of kind of sorting through things. It's
Right,
useful every time.
right.
So with that being said, I think it is time for some questions. With on your screen right now, you have a phone number, a website, and an email. So if you have not gotten an information packet already, please feel free to utilize one of these methods on your screen to reach out and request one, because it all starts there. It's just a conversation. If you haven't come for a tour and you'd like to, reach out. We are happy to schedule something with you. I'm sure that during the holiday season, there's lots of traveling. If you're out of state, you might actually be in the New England area. Let us know, and we'll try and kind of work with your schedule as much as possible. But really, we can talk about this community ad nauseum, but what really matters is for you to see it and experience it and have your own opinion. We both love it here. We hope that you would love it here. But let's dive into some questions. So I do see one question that asks, what is the total number of residents and the number of staff ratio? So as of our June 30th census, we had 257 residents, and then we had 139 full-time staff and about 190 staff in total, including per diem and part-time. So that's really a pretty good ratio, if you ask me. And you can see it here. You always have people around you that can assist with kind of whatever your needs are. Next question, Jen, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I unfortunately don't. Does the wood shop
Sure.
have a lathe?
Yes, I'm pretty sure we do have a lathe. We'll check. We can get back to you on that, but I'm pretty sure we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is there a pool and hot tub? So we do not have a lap pool, but we do have what we call a therapy pool. I always like to reference there was this study done on the utilization of pools in retirement communities across the country, and it came out to a whopping 4%. So we just feel, and Durham also does not have a lap pool as well. We feel that we can put those assets into areas that would be more well used. But we do have the therapy pool. So that is a one-person tank. You can step into it. The door shuts, the water levels around you, and there's a treadmill at the bottom of it. So sessions are done through an outpatient PT company. You could just ask your doctor for referrals. That's what a lot of residents do. But you can do cardio, you can use weights. It's great for low impact exercise. And the water is obviously warm, which is a great plus.
Jets in it too. And I think you can pay for a workout if you want to.
Correct. I just
Neat.
meant if you wanted insurance to cover it, that's a
Right.
good point.
Sure. Yep.
So one question is, will you have a presentation like this for the Durham location? Yes. So depending on which presentation you're talking about, for the 101s, these are hosted by each community individually. if you are talking about the Matt Paxton presentation, yes, that is the registration is open on all three communities kind of newsletters or the website itself that links to all three communities. So everything is available. Next question, Jen, if you want to go next. Is there a bank representative that visits Riverwoods? What bank?
Not specifically. It's independent living, and residents would bring in their bank rep if needed. I'm sure some residents here would be willing to refer you to the bankers that they use or the lawyers that they use, all of that. But we don't have a specific bank that comes in. We don't exchange cash here in the community. Everything goes on the monthly invoices, so that makes it really easy. You don't really need cash here. There are some banks close by. We do have a list of all the banks and all the different services and moving companies and all those things that we can forward to you if needed.
Yeah, there really is a benefit by being in Manchester. You have quite a number of options.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is, any plan to build more cottages? Jen, you can feel free to keep going if you want.
Yeah, we're 29 acres and we've filled our property, so we are not able to build more cottages. There's a mix of large and small. It's probably 3 to 5 years maybe for a cottage to open up. So just don't wait to get on the wait list if that's your plan. Might be sooner. Sometimes we have a surprise and someone decides to move into the building or over to healthcare. The folks in the cottages are in their 70s all the way up to probably late 80s, and you never know. So get on the wait list. That's the most critical thing right now.
Yeah, and there's no harm in getting on a wait list either. It's really a great just safety net for options. It gives you choices to work with.
That's right.
Next question is, can we have access to activities calendar? We can send a sample activities calendar to you, no problem. As a resident, what you would see is there's both a weekly kind of preview of what's going on, as well as a full month's calendar that is printed. We also are in the midst of switching our resident portal to something called Icon, and that's going to be a great location for just checking online what's going on in the community. If there's been any changes, maybe it was in one location, now it's in a different location. So there's multiple ways that you can see what's going on in the community. We also have these TV monitors on multiple floors that pan through what's going on in the community, whether it's events or celebrations, etc. So really, you have a lot of communication going on. And then last question, Jen, feel free. Oh, nope, there's more coming in. Is there an amateur radio group?
There is a new cottage resident that's actually interested in starting one. I don't think that's happened yet. They're still getting settled. We do have an in-house television channel that's run by residents, and it comes through as one channel on your TVs. You sign up for services through Comcast, but so we have an in-house TV channel. There's no radio service yet. Who knows? Maybe that's something that can start up. And again, we had a serious radio host from up in Maine, the coast of Maine, who really wanted to start something here and just hasn't done it yet.
Next question is, we have an unlimited long-term care insurance policy. To what extent is it possible to utilize this benefit to offset expenses? So this, for everybody who's listening in, this is a great question to follow up with after this presentation as well. But long-term care insurance works beautifully with our contract type. We have something called a type B as in boy contract. And so we utilize it in your financial assessment, actually, because we consider it an offset of some of the healthcare costs. Each plan is different, but most of them tend to say once you reach 2 activities of daily living needing assistance, that's when it starts to kick in and you're in assisted living on at that point, usually. So the way it works is you would still pay RiverWoods the full monthly fee, but that receipt or invoice would get submitted to your long-term care policy, and they would reimburse you directly based on your individual plan. So we always like to say, if you have long-term care insurance, get to know it before you need to use it. Most people start contributing to it years prior and then just leave that binder on your desk every year that comes in and never look through it. So really get to know it so that you can utilize it. If you have questions, you can always share it with us and we can share it with our finance department to help answer some specific questions. But it works well with our contract type.
I would add, what not all policies cover the same thing. So whatever yours covers on our campus, some do home care. Well, that enhanced living service can be, the home care benefit. They take about 2 weeks to get you a copy of their summary sheet typically, and we need that for our application. So it can slow you down if you're trying to apply and join a wait list really quickly. You want to call them like last week and have them mail you the current summary sheet. And we need that information exactly how it's spelled out on our application. So get a copy of that and know what's needed and don't delay.
And one more question that I see that could change is, can residents have pianos?
Absolutely. And we have a couple. We have a baby grand out in the living room area. There's a couple of upright pianos in the building too, but there are definitely some residents who have. Depends on the size apartment. The smaller ones may or may not be able to fit in a large piano certainly, but smaller pianos pretty much fit anywhere.
All right, so it is 2:01, so we're 1 minute over, but almost perfect timing. I don't see any more questions. So thank you for joining us for our RiverWoods Manchester 101. Again, this is just a 101, so there's more to talk about. There's more to go over. So reach out, let us know what is helpful to you as an individual. Do you want to see certain floor plans? Do you want to check out what dining is like and ask questions about that? We have Daniel, who's our dining director, who is wonderful to chat with. Let us know what you need. This decision is ultimately yours, but we can't stress enough that it is a fantastic decision to make to move into our community. So we hope that you enjoyed this session. We hope to see you at future presentations, but I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you at the next event.
Happy holidays.
Yes.